Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. Today, I want to invite you into a very personal, very important conversation. Let me start with a question. Have you ever wondered what your child really wishes you knew, but doesn't know how to say? Think about it. Children laugh, they play, they go through school, they eat at your table, they watch TV in your living room, but behind all those ordinary moments, there are unspoken desires, feelings, and even hurts. And because many kids don't know how to express those things, parents sometimes assume everything is fine. But here's the truth, every child has a silent voice. And that silent voice is constantly whispering things like, see me, hear me, love me, guide me. The problem is, as parents, we sometimes get so caught up in the busyness of providing, working, paying bills, and keeping life running that we don't hear those whispers. That's what I call the parenting gap, the distance between what parents think their children need and what children actually crave deep in their hearts. I once heard about a boy who told his teacher, "My dad gives me everything I want, but I don't have what I need." When the teacher asked, "What do you mean?" the boy said, "I just want him to look at me when I talk." That sentence broke my heart, because it reveals something powerful. Children are not just asking for more things, they're asking for more connection. And that's what this video is about. Today, we'll explore what children wish their parents knew but never say. And my hope is that by the end of this, you'll not only understand your children better, you'll know exactly how to bridge that parenting gap and build a stronger bond with them. So let's begin. Here are different important points I'll share with you. Point 1. The need for emotional connection. The first silent wish children have is, I want you to connect with me, not just take care of me. Now, don't get me wrong, taking care of children is a huge responsibility, and parents work hard at it. Many of you watching this video sacrifice sleep, comfort, and even personal dreams just to provide for your kids. And that is noble. That is love. But here's the problem, providing is not the same as connecting. Think about a father who buys his child the latest video game, the best clothes, and pays school fees on time, but when the child tries to talk about their day, the father brushes them off, saying, "I'm busy right now." What message does that send? To the child, it says, "You matter only in what I can give you, not in who you are." Children don't just want their physical needs met, they want to feel emotionally safe and valued. One young girl once said, "My mom is always around, but I feel like she's not with me." Isn't that interesting? Her mother was physically present, but emotionally absent. As parents, we sometimes think, well, I'm here in the same house. Doesn't that count? But being in the same room doesn't equal connection. Connection means eye contact. It means listening with genuine interest. It means asking, "How are you feeling today?" and then pausing long enough to let your child answer. Connection also means meeting your child in their world. Maybe your son is into football, or your daughter loves drawing. You may not care much about football or art, but joining them in what excites them tells them, your world matters to me because you matter to me. Children who feel emotionally connected to their parents grow up with confidence, resilience, and trust. Children who don't often go searching for that connection elsewhere, in friends, in relationships, sometimes even in harmful places. So ask yourself, am I connecting, or am I just providing? Because children don't just need parents who work for them, they need parents who walk with them. Point 2. Quality time versus quantity time. The second unspoken wish is, I don't need all your time, but I need some of it to be just for me. We live in a busy world. Parents are stretched thin, work deadlines, financial stress, household chores, endless responsibilities. And sometimes, guilt sets in. Parents think, I don't spend enough hours with my kids. But here's some good news. children value quality time over quantity time. Let me give you an example. Imagine a father who spends all Saturday at home but spends it on the couch scrolling through his phone. Compare that to another father who comes home late from work but takes 15 minutes before bedtime to sit on the edge of his daughter's bed, listen to her stories, and say, "I love you." Which child do you think feels more connected? Exactly. The one with 15 minutes of quality presence. One boy once said, "I don't care if my dad is busy. I just want him to eat dinner with me without looking at his phone." That's the difference between being there and being there. So what does quality time look like? It could be a simple family dinner where everyone shares one highlight of their day. It could be reading a bedtime story with full attention. It could be going for a walk together and letting your child lead the conversation. And here's something important: children remember the little moments more than the big ones. They may forget the expensive holiday you took them on, but they'll remember the night you stayed up late to listen to their fears. So don't pressure yourself to always have hours free. Start with minutes. 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there. It's not about how much time you spend, it's about how present you are in the time you do spend. 3. Words that heal or hurt. If children could say it clearly, they would tell us, "Your words shape me more than you realize." Think back to your own childhood. Can you remember something a parent or teacher said to you, whether positive or negative, that stuck with you for years? That's the power of words. Our words don't just describe our children, they define them in their own minds. If a child hears over and over again, "You were so lazy, you'll never amount to anything," or "Why can't you be like your sister?" those words start to settle in their hearts. They don't just hear them, they become them. They begin to think, "Maybe I am lazy. Maybe I'll never be good enough." But the opposite is also true. When a child hears, "I believe in you, I'm proud of you, you made a mistake, but you were still amazing," they start to rise to that expectation. They begin to think, "I can do this. I'm valuable. I matter." I once read about a boy who struggled terribly in school. His teachers labeled him as slow, and his parents constantly told him, "You're just not smart." But one day, a new teacher looked at him and said, "I see greatness in you." That one sentence lit a fire in his heart. Years later, he became a successful engineer, and he said it was because one adult chose to speak life into him instead of defeat. Parents, your words can either be a hammer that breaks or a seed that grows. So I challenge you, this week, speak intentional affirmations into your child's life. Say, "I love you no matter what. I'm proud of the effort you put in. I believe you can do hard things." You may not see the results immediately, but those words are building an identity that will last a lifetime. Point 4. Discipline versus understanding. If children could express it without fear, many would say, "When you discipline me, I want to understand, not just be punished." Discipline is a hot topic in parenting. Some parents lean toward being too strict, others toward being too lenient. But here's what children actually crave: boundaries with explanations. You see, discipline without explanation feels like anger. But discipline with guidance feels like love. Let's picture this: a little boy spills juice on the carpet. The parent storms into the room, shouts, maybe even spanks him, and says, "Why can't you be more careful? You always mess everything up." The child is left crying, not just because of the punishment, but because they don't understand what exactly they did wrong. All they've learned is that their parent gets mad when things go wrong. Now imagine the same situation handled differently. The parent sees the spill, takes a deep breath, and says, "I know accidents happen. But when you throw your cup, it makes a mess that someone else has to clean. Next time, please use your words instead of throwing." Then, They guide the child to grab a cloth and clean up together. Do you see the difference? In the first case, the child learns fear. In the second, the child learns responsibility. Children silently wish parents would pause and explain. Not every discipline moment has to be a lecture, but taking even 30 seconds to explain why a behavior is wrong transforms discipline from punishment into teaching. And here's the beauty of it: when children understand, they're more likely to cooperate. They don't see you as the enemy. They see you as a guide. So, next time you discipline, ask yourself, am I reacting out of anger, or am I teaching with love? Point 5. The silent struggles of children. This part is heavy, but it's so important. If children could open their hearts, many would whisper, "I wish you knew how hard life feels sometimes." Parents often underestimate the struggles children face because, from the outside, their lives look simple. No bills to pay, no jobs to manage, no adult responsibilities. But inside, children face a world of challenges that feel just as overwhelming to them as adult struggles feel to us. Think about it: a child facing bullying at school doesn't have the emotional tools to cope. A teenager who feels like they don't fit in may carry silent pain every day. A child struggling academically might dread going to school, but doesn't know how to explain it without disappointing their parents. Let me share a story. A girl named Hannah was always cheerful at home. She smiled, helped with chores, and seemed like the perfect daughter. But at school, she was being teased daily about her appearance. She carried the pain in silence because she thought, if I tell my parents, they'll just say ignore it, or worse, they'll think I'm weak. One night, her mother walked into her room and found her crying quietly. That was the first time her silent struggle came into the open. Children often don't talk about their struggles because they're afraid of being dismissed. They fear hearing things like, "That's not a big deal," or "When I was your age, I had it worse." But here's the truth: what feels small to you may feel enormous to them. As parents, our job is not to minimize their struggles, but to empathize with them. Ask questions like, did anything make you sad today? Did anyone hurt your feelings? What was the hardest part of your day? And when they answer, listen, without rushing to fix it, without dismissing it, and without judgment. Because silence doesn't mean peace. Sometimes silence means, I don't know how to tell you I'm hurting. Point 6. Living by example. If children could put it into words, they would tell us, I watch what you do more than I listen to what you say. Parents often give instructions: respect your elders. Be honest. Don't shout. But the truth is, children are less shaped by what you say and more by what you do. A father might tell his son not to lose his temper, but if the boy watches his dad scream at drivers in traffic, what lesson do you think sticks? A mother might tell her daughter, don't gossip, but if she overhears her mom tearing down neighbors or relatives on the phone, what example is really being set? Children are mirrors. They copy tone, habits, even attitudes. That's why the greatest gift we can give them is not just good advice, it's a good example. There is a powerful saying, children are great imitators, so give them something great to imitate. Think about the kind of adult you want your child to become. Do you want them to be kind, patient, respectful, hardworking? Then ask yourself, am I modeling those traits in front of them? Because whether we realize it or not, our children are watching us when we think they're not. They notice how we treat the waiter at a restaurant. They notice how we talk to our spouse. They notice how we react when we're frustrated. So the question every parent must wrestle with is, if my child grew up to be exactly like me, would I be proud? Point 7. The cry for unconditional love. Deep down, every child wants to say, please love me for who I am, not just for what I achieve. Too many children grow up believing love is conditional. that it only flows when they succeed, when they behave, or when they meet expectations. Think about how often love is tied to performance. A child brings home good grades, they get hugs, praise, and maybe a gift. A child fails a test, they get scolding, disappointment, and cold silence. What does that teach them? That love has to be earned. The danger is that children who grow up this way often carry it into adulthood. They become adults who constantly chase approval, at work, in relationships, even with their own children, because deep down, they don't believe they're lovable unless they succeed. But unconditional love, the kind that says, "I love you on your best days, and I love you just as much on your worst days," gives children the confidence to grow without fear. Imagine your child has just failed an exam. Instead of saying, "You've embarrassed me," imagine saying, "I know this hurts, but this doesn't change how much I love you. We'll figure this out together." That one response could reshape how they see failure forever. Because children don't just need cheerleaders when they win, they need anchors when they lose. Point 8. Practical steps for parents. Now, let's get practical. How do we take all these wishes and turn them into daily actions? Here are some simple but powerful steps. 1. Listen more, talk less. Next time your child wants to share something, resist the urge to jump in with advice. Just listen. 2. Create daily connection moments. Even 10 to 15 minutes of undistracted attention can strengthen your bond more than you imagine. 3. Speak life into your child. Every day, say something affirming, "I'm proud of you, I love being your parent," or "I see how hard you're trying." 4. Model what you want to see. Don't just say, "Be respectful." Show respect in how you treat others. 5. Reassure unconditional love. Especially after mistakes, remind them, you are loved no matter what. These small, consistent actions bridge the parenting gap. The parenting gap is not about parents failing, it's about parents learning to listen more deeply. It's about recognizing that children often won't say what they need directly, but their hearts are speaking, "See me. Hear me. Love me. Guide me." As parents, our job is not to be perfect, it's to be present. It's to bridge the gap between what we assume and what our children silently wish for. So tonight, I want to challenge you with one simple but powerful question. Sit with your child and ask, "What's one thing you wish I knew?" Then, just listen. No judgment. No correction. No defense. Just listen. That one conversation could change everything. And remember this, your children don't need a perfect parent. They need a present parent. One who listens. One who connects. One who loves unconditionally. Thank you for spending this time with me. If you found this helpful, please share it with another parent. Together, let's build families where children feel seen, heard, and deeply loved.